Hi, everybody. Welcome to the quarantine quarantine film series. We're back again. I'm your host, Kabir Segal, coming to you live from the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, Mom and Dad downstairs. Hi. And thanks to all of you for watching all around the world. Great to have you back tuning in for a new episode. This is a fun one. I always love when we can do music projects, music films. So the quarantine series, it's really an effort to put the spotlight on creative individuals. These are the filmmakers, the authors, the musicians that create the stories, write the books, produce the films that entertain and challenge us throughout the year, and they put some soul in our lives and enrich our world. So let's be there for them if we can. It's important to support the creative community. Also, let's think local. Always important to help local creators, whether it's a local film festival or local book fair, or do what we can for local musicians. So a couple things. If you want to learn who will be on the broadcast, you can obviously subscribe to my social media. We're available pretty much on all platforms, so you'll be in the loop as to who's on and when they're on. And let us know where you are watching from. We got California in the house. We got Georgia in the house. Drop a comment. Let us know city, state, province. I'm getting very good at learning all the provinces in the world. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you have a question, I don't have to ask all the questions. This is a question-friendly zone. So if you have a question, if you're watching live or if you're watching on the rebroadcast, just drop a comment in the comment field, and we'll be sure to opine to your questions, comments. All right. So now we get to meet the remarkable filmmaker. He truly is making great pictures. He's an award-winning producer, director, editor, cinematographer. A hyphenated human. Produced 20 episodes of Prime Net series called The Therapist or Viceland, which we've heard about. His recent film, which I'm very excited to talk to him about, American Rapstar, selected for the August South by Southwest Film Festival. Please welcome to the show the maestro himself, Justin Staple. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Kabir. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, my pleasure. First, got to ask you, Justin, how are you doing in this period of pandemic? How is the quarantine affected you? How has it affected some of your projects?
Well, it hasn't been the best for my film and the filmmaking process, seeing as theaters are shut inside. So it hasn't been too bad. We just got locked down here again in Los Angeles. I'm working on my next film after American Rapstar, and just did a virtual film festival for the first time with Doc NYC. Sorry if my internet's a little choppy there. But yeah, we're getting a little bored here in LA, trying to stay busy, directing music videos and directing a new documentary film I'm excited about. And we're during this time. Are you muted right now?
Yes, I can't hear.
There
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
I should have done this once or twice. I was trying to. I didn't know whether to come in or not because it's a little choppy. But I wanted just to ask you about your day-to-day routine. What is like the typical day like for you? Do you wake up at the same time? Is there vitamins involved? How do you make sure you don't go crazy in this period of quarantine? What's the routine like?
For early these days, 6 long runs as well. And then we'll just try to get some outdoors, some vitamin D, some exercise, whether it's tennis or hiking in the morning or just walking around outside.
Yeah. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna why don't you, Justin, you come back, and once you come back in, and so while we're doing that, let's run some pictures of the film so we can take a look at it. It's called American Rapstar. American Rapstar was at the South by Southwest Film Festival, August Film Festival, unfortunately, it was canceled. When South by was canceled, it was kind of a seminal event that for most filmmakers, like, oh no, the year's canceled. All these afterwards, so many film festivals wrestle. The film is really an exploration of the SoundCloud rap phenomenon. Those of you who know, SoundCloud is very big among young lo-fi rappers that have emerged within the last recent years. And SoundCloud has some difficulties, whether it should survive as a platform or not. It finally got bailed out. SoundCloud, also this film, American Rapstar, explores the possibility of social media to engage with a rabid fan base. A new breed of stars like Lil Peep, Smoke Perp, and Bad Bobby. I'm learning all these new people have disrupted the music industry, sidestepping traditional gatekeepers to shock the world with their ambitious antics, prescription drug use, facial tattoos, and irreverent punk energy. So this is rap in the age of Trump. If you want to feed me any more lines, that's fine. This is rap in the age of Trump. And you're seeing here kind of there's the visual evidence of what's happening in the rap community. I think you're also going to see an expression of affirmation of identity, because there's been very much of othering people during this period of pandemic and the last 4 years in this political environment. And so rap has really been an expressive medium, and it's been amazing to see the merger of technology and rap come together in a very fluid manner to create platforms such as not just SoundCloud, but and several SoundCloud rappers have died in the last few years. Little Jean, is it Jean? I don't know if it's Mandarin or not, but I think we have Justin back, which is great. So I've been ad-libbing on your wonderful documentary.
Thank you.
So, but I only know so much about it, but I've been talking about the virtues of SoundCloud. But tell us about the film.
Yeah, the film is my kind of tribute to the SoundCloud rap era, SoundCloud rap scene. I've been documenting a lot of these kids. Features Lil Xan, Maddox, Bad Baby, XXXTentacion, Lil Peep, Lil Pump, and more, and kind of put them all together after I've been documenting them 2-3 years to try to make a more cohesive, grander statement about what the scene meant to me, some of the social issues involved in the scene, some of the details around the untimely deaths of some of the scene's biggest stars, and just try to shed light on these kids who are real rock stars to a lot of young people around the country and around the world, but underreported and under scrutinized, in my opinion. Yeah.
I definitely hear you. So how did you get involved in this in the first place? Why did you want to, did you, someone approach you? Was this your idea? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been covering music for about 10 years and documentary work along in podcast form and radio form, and done a lot of music documentaries. You mentioned the Joan of Arc documentary I made a few years ago. And when these kids came along, they were kind of made fun of. Lil Pump was probably the first one I heard of who makes short songs that are not exactly lyrically complex or sonically complex. So they're made fun of for kind of their short songs, hard-hitting songs, and just wild attitude with the colorful hair, the rampant drug use, the violent tendencies, the face tattoos. But I kind of was intrigued by it. I felt like there was something there that I draw the parallel to the 70s punk scene in the film, and kind of felt like that. And then it really sparked my interest when some of these kids came from SoundCloud and started signing multi-million-dollar record deals with major labels. You got XXXTentacion signed for like $3 to $5 million. Lil Pump signed for a few million. Did it with Maddox and Lil Peep. And then I was like, oh, there's a story here, because once there's those type of massive price tags attached to their record deal, something different's happening. And it turned out what is different is the streaming economy emerging, the rise of Spotify and Apple Music and SoundCloud and YouTube, and Billboard using those streaming numbers towards the Billboard charts, which I talk about in the movie as well. And so these kids could make #1 records on their own terms and blow up and become genuine rock stars or rap stars. And it's just a bizarre tale. Bad Baby, who you're showing right now, she came up through a viral meme on Dr. Phil, ended up launching her own multi-million-dollar makeup line, a reality show, record deal. She's got platinum records now. And on her own terms and unabashed, without the support or the traditional path of stars of the past. And now you see streaming is everything. You fast forward to 2020 and all the artists are focused on streams and hitting #1 on the streaming charts, and how well is this album going to stream on Spotify. And that was a new concept back in 2016, 2017 when these kids were coming out. Plus the music is good, and I wanted to shed some light on the music there. You see everything's taken a bizarre turn. The most bizarre thing I saw was Trump bringing out Little Pump. That was truly a bizarre moment.
Yeah, it certainly was. It's amazing to see how the technology is impacting the music, how the songs, how the art is being impacted, whether it's the length or the content. And when you were making this film, Justin, how did you know which stories, which threads to follow? It can be, it's quite an expansive thing to look at the emerging rap scene. So how did you know which stories to be as sort of the main arcs in the film?
That's a great question. Yeah, a lot of people define SoundCloud rap as Space Ghost Purr or Denzel Curry or Post Malone. I had done a piece about him. But I was kind of using these different characters to talk about different social issues that affect young people around the world. So with XXXTentacion, I'm kind of taking on the issue of gun violence. He was gunned down very unfortunately at a very young age. With Little Peep, I'm talking about fentanyl, press Xanax, and accidental overdoses and the abuse of opioids in young people. And with Maddox and Bad Baby, I'm talking about addiction to social media, how social media is changing their mind. There's even talk about TikTok in there and hypersexualization exposed to kids on TikTok. And I looked at those issues, and that's how I chose the subjects. I wanted to talk about the issues through the lens of these popular rappers, something that I'd also done in The Therapist. We were talking about removing the stigma of mental health and talking about mental health openly, but through the lens of people's favorite rappers. So I could have covered just any rapper in there. There's a lot of SoundCloud rappers, Little Uzi Vert. A lot of people wonder why I didn't put Tekashi 6ix9ine in there, but these are the characters that I really felt would build a cohesive vision. Smoke Perp's in there as well, who has a journey of violence and drug dealing, but just to become sober and become a better man at the end. So it's these kind of redemption stories that made me choose the characters.
Yeah. As I'm listening to you speak and hearing about the music involved, I just started to think about like the budget and just clearing all this up. Was that, I'm not going to ask what the budget was, but how did you think about that? Or like how we're going to clear all this stuff and getting the rights? How onerous was that process?
It is onerous. I'm actually a music video director as well, so I have relationships with a lot of the labels, and I'm actually friends with a lot of the artists featured in the film as well. And so you'll see with the Hulu and Showtime 6ix9ine docs, they've come out and said those are unauthorized and they don't support them. This was a completely different production. I was working alongside these rappers, making music videos with them, made the X Live film, and contributed to Little Peep's documentary, Everybody's Everything, that's on Netflix right now. So I had a long-standing relationship with my subjects, and so getting clearances was easy when you have them on board. And I had multiple partners coming in trying to pay for it. So, it's one thing to cover the theatrical streaming rights. It's another thing to cover just festival rights. And right now we're on the festival version of it. That's the version that you guys are seeing at home. And when it hits the small screen or big screen, you're going to see a much more robust version with a lot of content in there.
Tell us about that. Tell us about where people can check out the project and how they can experience it.
Yeah, I'm working on another film right now, and we are in this golden era of streaming. Everyone's streaming on the small screen, but I think the more I show this film around the world on the small screen, I'd like to kind of wait and show it on some bigger platforms. So I'm going to hold out on distributing the movie until theaters are able to show it again. I got offers from a lot of theaters around the world to show it. And unfortunately, as the details would come together, the states and the governments would just shut it down. So I think I'm going to wait until January, February, do a big launch. A lot of people think it's a timely story. A lot of these stars came up last year, and will it not be as relevant later in 2021? But I think it's kind of a timeless story, and it's an entertaining movie that can be enjoyed on the big screen. The version that's out there right now, we mixed in Dolby surround sound and colored in 2K and 4K for the big screen. So holding out for that.
Sounds good. Let's switch gears, talk about The Therapist, Dr. Singh. What happens here in this picture?
Series sitting on Singh, The Therapist. That came about through a meeting in collaboration with the rapper YG out of Los Angeles, who launched the album Still Brazy. And through that, he was talking about who shot him. He had gotten shot in a recording studio a few months prior to releasing this album, and he had severe PTSD, not knowing what had happened to him. But in rap music, it's very hard to talk about PTSD and your feelings surrounding that. You want to put on a machismo image, and you don't really want to show the softer side of you. So we came up with the idea, along with YG's creative director, to have him open up to a therapist. He wanted someone that was kind of like Morgan Freeman voice, the voice of God. And we searched for that right therapist, found the wonderful Siri Sitnong Singh, who lives here in California, and he's a Jungian family analyst. And he was the one. We kicked it off with YG. It went crazy. It was trending on Twitter, Breakfast Club, everyone. And after that, we rolled out 20 episodes with everyone from Freddie Gibbs to Young M.A., Chief Keef, Nathan Williams, and then eventually Katy Perry, which was a massive one. We did an hour special with her. She talks about suicidal thoughts, all this crazy stuff. And I remember after the Katy Perry episode, I was at the gym. They had on the screen, Entertainment Tonight, CNN, Fox, and they were all showing the Katy Perry segment. So I really knew I was onto something there. And it was a TV show, a 30-minute format. I think I'm going to bring it back pretty soon here.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah, we want to do like Kanye and 6ix9ine and stuff. So we'll see where it goes.
How do you manage your project flow? It seems like you're involved with so many great projects. Do you have some kind of master bulletin board or something where you're like, hey, I need to do this on this day, or is it all in your head?
Yeah, I make a to-do list every day. Every week I make a to-do list and try to see what we can get done that week, and we're slowly chipping away at it. I'll kind of have a micro to-do list of what has to be done that day, and then a macro one, what has to be done that month, what has to be done that quarter. And I'm easy to pivot too. If something's not working, like, I've been trying to get therapists back for a year now, but if something's not working, we're going to work on something else, and just keep it moving, try to stay happy. It's a tough life out there trying to be a full-time creative. So just trying to enjoy life and keep it moving.
You are, and you're making it more enjoyable for us and creating these wonderful pictures and content. I'm sure I've seen probably many of your music videos. You mentioned 20 years of Joan of Arc. Just walk us through that project as well. And I want the audience to know about why you felt this was an important story to make.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that film up. That was a movie I made a few years ago with my idol, Tim Kinsella, who's a Chicago musician from the 90s. He came up in around 94, 95 with the pivotal 90s emo band Cap'n Jazz, CAP''N Jazz. And I was obsessed with that band growing up and always felt like I wanted to tell his story. And I met him just coincidentally at a bar in Chicago and approached him and told him about myself. And he said, we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of Joan of Arc, which is his experimental rock band that he's been doing for 20 years. And the band is not necessarily commercially successful, and the point of the band is to not be commercially successful. This is a creative output for Tim Kinsella himself. So I wanted to explore what that means, just to be this uncompromising artist for 20 years, kind of like a Devil and Daniel Johnston, a Daniel Johnston-esque character. And interviewed him and all his admirers. Devandra Banhart is in the film. Mike Kinsella is in the film. Tim Kinsella, his grandma, all the members of Joan of Arc. And it's a portrait of, the takeaway message is just about staying true to your creativity. Sometimes it won't be commercially successful, but when you just focus on commercial success, you're going to lose what's really fun about it and what's really pure. And that was a dream project for me. I worked on it for a year and a half, released it on lathe cut DVD. So if you play the DVD on a record player, it actually plays a new Tim Kinsella song on the DVD itself. Those sold very well, and I'm looking to maybe get it on a bigger platform. But when I was done with it, I was sad because that was truly a dream project. He's one of my favorite people of all time, Tim Kinsella.
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Thank you.
How do you know which film to take on next? Like, what's the decision-making process? Is it whatever feels good, whatever's funded?
Yeah, I have a lot of projects that I think about for a long time. I have a list of like 3 or 4 feature-length films that I'd want to make right now. I'm focusing on documentary right now, but I actually do scripted work as well. And we're kind of circling what my scripted work is going to look like and what I'll look like a scripted director. But right now, I kind of try to tap into the zeitgeist of what's going on in the culture. I think SoundCloud rap was a very buzzy idea last year. It was kind of shocking. Tekashi 6ix9ine and Lil Peep dying suddenly, and X being so violent and crazy. That was a very zeitgeist moment for that scene, and that's why I chose that film. My next film is kind of about more turning back to nature and what it's like to be inside and how man can be better with the surroundings for them. So I have a lot of films that are going to kind of fit into the cultural moment, and that's kind of how I would choose. But obviously I like to choose subjects that will have a built-in audience or will speak to a larger audience. I think it's very competitive in the documentary space right now, and you kind of want to be able to find that built-in audience.
Yeah, you got it. You're an inspiration, Justin. Thanks for doing what you do. I want everyone to check out your social media so they can find you and find it at justinstaple.com. Follow him online, like his films, check out his films, and be a fan. And Justin, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much. This is a great show. Keep it up.
You can put the quarantine series on your to-done list now. Got it done. I like it.
I'm episode 150.
Yeah, so that's our show, everyone. If you want to learn who'll be next on the broadcast, subscribe to my social media. And take care of the music, take care of the art. It'll take care of you. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.